All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the second part of the video, so you may or may not have watched the unboxing portion, but what we're going to do now is we are going to trade the hard drive out. Here's my PS4 Pro. Here's my 7200 RPM SATA 6 gig 1 terabyte hard drive. I want to put it in here, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this actually before even setting up the system. So when you first get the system, you see this sticker over here. It houses the holder for the hard drive. So first thing I'm going to do is peel that off. Try to do it on camera for you guys. So there we go. I've peeled it off. Now I'm going to remove the cover. That actually comes off a lot easier than the original PS4. That video also exists on my channel if you want to see that. But anyway, and looking at it, here's the hard drive right here. But let me show you a different perspective. If you look underneath, that's the screw we have to remove. So that's the first part before we take this out. So I'm going to leave my PS4 upside down. You want to make sure it's in a safe place when you do this. And we'll unscrew it. This is a Phillips head screwdriver I'm using. You don't want to use a lot of tension. You don't want to strip this screw in any way, shape, or form. It is totally replaceable by Sony, but why bother, right? Just be nice. And when it eventually comes out, there you go. Now, this hard drive caddy should just slide right out. And it does. And the one thing that's important is if you've ever changed the hard drive on a regular PS4, this is an upside down hard drive, so it's seated differently. That's important when you want to put the hard drive back in. Previously, it was label side up. Now it's going to be label side down, so you want to pay attention to that. But it does look like the 4 screws are the same, suggesting that the caddy is the same. So I'm going to swap those out real quick. You can use the screwdriver the whole time. I just choose to go easy on them when they're coming out. And with all 4 screws removed, this guy just slides out real easily. I want to remember this because here's my other hard drive. Just turn it over and slide it right. Whoop. Make sure you do it the right way. You want to have, this is why I didn't move it. I want to have it looking the exact same. So I want to have this part, which is the SATA connection, the identical. So there we go. Now, just real quick, I want to look at this one and see what's in there. If you look, it's interesting. It's an HGST as well. I don't know how well that label can read with the glow of my computer, but just looking, it is a 1 terabyte 5400 RPM, but it is a SATA 3 gig. So what that means is SATA 6 gig is what this now supports, which is a faster connection rate. So it should benefit from the fact that this is a SATA 6 gig drive. And therefore it can transfer data faster. So not only is it going to benefit from the fact that the drive itself can spin faster, but it should also benefit from the fact that the connection is faster. So there are reasons why, even though my storage is not increasing on this one, and most people will tell you to probably get a higher storage rate, they're not wrong. There's a benefit to that. This should benefit from both the faster hard drive speed and the faster connection. So I'm going to put these screws back in. I'll be quiet for a second, but I'll do it on camera for you. I always get them started by hand, and I always put them in all 4 of them before tightening any of them. Okay, and with all 4 in place, I can just use the screwdriver and tighten them. Again, like when unscrewing them, you just want to screw it till you get some tension. You know, just some light tension, nothing crazy. Because I want to be able to unscrew these with ease, but I also want to make sure it's secure. So you basically want to give it a little bit of push like that. Oh, sorry, it's not even on screen. But basically, if you can see, I'm giving it a little bit of push, and I'm getting resistance. So you want to just go till you get a little bit of resistance with the push, like that. Kind of feel it in place, and you can feel like drive is definitely locked in place. So then with that in place, pop it back in. It makes sense. The sensors here, the SATA connections, are going to go straight into the console, which is where they will connect. And again, we know it's upside down. The console's upside down, so that kind of makes sense. Don't be a fool like me. Don't put it in upside down. Put it in the right way, which means the drive will continue to be upside down, so it's right side up. But I noticed that the connection point here, so if I pull this back out, the connection point here is lower. So going in this way was the wrong way, as anybody who's watching this video probably noticed right away. And this is the right way. So what this tells you is 2 things. This tells you I'm not a professional, and I can't remember 5 minutes in the past. Anyway, we take the screw. We're going to pop it back into place. And again, you want to just get it till it's firmly in place and gives you some resistance, but you don't want to go to town. Okay, see, it's giving me some resistance, and I don't want to over tighten it. So we're good to go. Lid pops on pretty easily. The easiest way you can tell is on the lid that connects it right here. There is like a Dolby, let's see what it says. It's in real fine print, but it's all about Dolby HD and things like that. You want to make sure that when you're looking at the console head on, right side up, it's in the right direction, and then you're pretty good. So there you go. There's a PS4 Pro now with an upgraded hard drive. Now, the first thing I got to do when I turn this on is I need to have the controller. So I'm going to use the controller that came with it, which is ideally synced up to it, but I don't think it matters when you're first turning on a PS4 that doesn't have any firmware on the hard drive. See, the original stock one that I got, this HGST 1 terabyte, probably does have a firmware 4.0 or 4.05 on the hard drive. So this one's not going to, so it's going to detect that. And it's probably going to give me some fun little thing that says, yo, you need to put a USB stick with a firmware on there and go. So when you boot up your console, you want to boot it up in safe mode. which is basically you hold it down for 7 seconds, I believe it is. And then you want to, when it boots up, you also want to have the USB drive with the firmware in there, and follow the instructions on the website for that. I'll have a link in the video notes. And you also want to have the controller hooked up to, with a USB cable, to the console, because the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth connection that it's using is disabled at this point. But anyway, here's the PS4 Pro. Again, this should accompany an article, but if for any reason you saw it on my YouTube without the article, definitely read my impressions, because I would love to show you guys the difference. But the reality is that most of the differences are the fact that it's in 4K, HDR, or at a higher frame rate. And aside from the frame rate, those are very difficult things to show off through a console. And the reason why is the capture card I've got does not support HDR or HDMI 2.0, and therefore 4K above 30 frames a second. So it's basically incompatible with this unit. And this unit itself, while it can stream to YouTube at an increased rate, the launch PS4 can stream on YouTube, or can record to YouTube at 720p 60 frames a second. This can now do 1080p 60 frames a second, but it can't do 4K or HDR, even though YouTube support it. So there are capture devices, I'm sure, that can do it. Digital Foundry says what's up, but I don't have the means to buy those. So anyway, in the meantime, all I can give you is the impressions article, but I have a majority of the games that were updated with the PS4 Pro. So I'm going to be playing the hell out of those and seeing what I see. So definitely look for my article on gaminghistory101.com. And in the meantime, this is Fred Rojas saying peace out.